Good morning. It's Rich with AOK Products, Woods Edge. You can call me Zipline, or you can call me Dick Ritchie, or you can call me Rich. Take your pick. I like giving people choices. Okay, so I'm out in the shop, and you say, "Hey, Dick Ritchie, why are you all dressed up?" Because this is about as dressed up as I seem to get these days. I got my Woods Edge collared shirt on, my jeans, my boots. Well, it's starting to feel like fall around here a little bit, believe it or not. And we're not even out of August yet. Isn't that crazy? So the mornings are chilly, and this is what I'll start to wear in the wintertime. So I was feeling like, why not? It's Friday, put on something, you know, something. Let's talk about, I didn't cover the miter saw. This here's a DeWalt 12-inch compound miter saw. And I did some tool talk, and I don't feel as though I covered it well enough because I think maybe you need some tips on what it's good for. So if you're at your house, you got this set up in your garage, think about it. You need a piece of trim cut. You need a piece of wood to hold your cabinet up. You need, some crazy stuff happens at people's homes. You need a piece of wood to put underneath your bed leg because it's off. You need something. But man, a lot of people got to go out in the garage and they got to pull out the Rubbermaid, and the Rubbermaid's got a vice grip, and then then they got to look for the next Rubbermaid that has their jigsaw or their circular saw, some kind of saw, or even a hand saw. God, I don't envy those people that are still using those. But just maybe it'd be good to make an investment. It doesn't have to be an expensive 12-inch DeWalt compound miter. You can buy these under $100 at Harbor Freight. I don't suggest it. I suggest anymore. I try to suggest if you're going to buy tools, buy the good tools. So I don't really suggest that you buy the best. Definitely think about buying right in the middle of the good. You know what I mean? I think it's a good idea to have something that's going to last. And I know DeWalt lasts a good bit and it works really well. So this here is a compound miter saw, and it's capable of doing all different kinds of cuts. You can do, see, here's your lock. That keeps it from, I gotta tell you, the one thing I hate the most about these saws is this area right here. So it's right in your path, it sticks out, you boom, you hit it, you bump it. But I don't think there's anything they can do about that. Whatever. So this is your lock, and this is your disengage button, because in here there's also like a little lock or a detent that allows you to turn your saw to do angles. You have this little radius here that has your angles too. It tells you what angle you're at when you're doing it. I got sawdust all over mine. So right now I'm at 45 degrees. This is at 90. Put it in there. This is all supposed to be set up nice and straight. Now when you do this, I don't like this guard, but it is a safety mechanism. I sometimes take it off of my saws. I haven't taken it off of this one yet, and I've had it for a while. So I'm okay with it, I guess. Now your buttons on this, you'll have a safety button and then the actual button. Now here's the thing. When you go to run this and make your first cut, you want that blade to be going almost full speed before you make contact with that wood. Otherwise, it'll bind up. I'm going to show you. That's a bind. You don't want to do that because that'll also want to grab and kick. I'll show you that later. I don't like that at all. That'll make you pucker. But here, you get the speed going. You run it straight through. Now you got a 45-degree angle. If you take another piece of wood and you do the same cut, now you have another 45-degree angle. 245s makes a 90. 4 of those and you have a frame. If you don't have a frame, you've got trim on something. It's that's a miter. That's what they call a miter right there. It's kind of fancy. And you can do that with 30 degrees. You can do that with 20 degrees. And you can make all different kinds of angle cuts. So there's that. Now it also does a couple other things actually. See what I mean by detent? It'll let you go click, click, click. All right, there you go. So you want to clear the space away because some, the pieces I cut will still remain there. When you have a shop, you can just throw stuff on the floor. It also has, when you loosen this on the back, the capability of angling. Isn't that cool? So now you can take this, put it. It has a degree thing here now. So I got it 30 degrees. We'll say, not we'll say. It is 30 degrees. Tighten that back up because you don't want it to move on you. Put your piece of wood in there. Get it going. Now your angle is on the fat side. You can do the same thing I just showed you before with the other. I don't ever do that. I almost never do that. I think I did it once the other day. And a lot of, I'm not a very safe guy. This is not going to be a safety channel. So a lot of people would have told you to probably unplug it when you do this. When you're playing with it because you don't want it. I had my hand right here, but that's what the guard's for. So this isn't going to be a safety channel for sure. I can almost guarantee you that. So that's my miter saw. I'm pretty simple with my tools when it comes to basics. I'm just cutting the wood at straight 90s most of the time. But it has those options otherwise. So that's why it's kind of like buy what you need, what you think you're going to need, what you know you're going to need, versus just buying the full Monty. Now, I also hinted at routers. So a lot of people get these big chunky routers and they have the tables and you turn them on and you run the wood on the router. I like these hand routers. This is a rigid. I really like rigid. I really like rigid for this, but I'm not so disappointed at all with this Avid Power. I think it's a Shop Fox. I don't know, Avid Power. This is kind of I thought a generic router, but it works great. I actually use this one more than this one because I have different bits on them. This is for a different type of project, and this is for a project I do all the time. Now these routers are really great because I'll drill holes in my wood for my lights. I'll drill holes so that these lights can go into the wood. And then once I drill that hole, I take the router and it has a rounded bit and I'll smooth out around that hole. And all I do is I turn this on. I did sound effects with sound effects. That's how good I am. I was going while I was going. Yeah. So don't do what I do. But here, I'm going to show you what I mean by it rounds it. These are all straight corners. See that? Now it's not a straight corner. Some people call that a bull nose. I just call it round. I'm a simple guy. So there's that. Now, let me give you a better look at the barnwood after so this is like a light base that I make. Look at that barnwood. To give you an idea, this is what that was. Look how beautiful that is. Nice sheen. It's protected. It's got mold inhibitor. It's going to keep from rotting anymore or any at all. and it's just going to always look beautiful. So this will go up on the ceiling like this, right? Imagine that. And then pendants or recessed lights go in these. And if you have like a cottage or a farmhouse or an apartment and whatever, and you want to make your space look a little more rustic and a little more, I don't know, I say refined, country refined. You might be interested in a Wood's Edge light. I'm not here to sell those to you, but if you want to buy them, I'm not going to not sell it to you. But that's the two tools I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about my routers and my miter saw. This miter saw, imagine having this in your garage, like I said. And you know, if I could give you a good example, this thing will cut anything. It'll cut plastic. You gotta watch cutting the softer stuff because it'll want to bind up in there. But it'll cut. It cut wood, plastic. You can put a different blade on it and it'll cut metal, aluminum. I wouldn't do that. Kind of have special saw for that if you want to do that, because you don't want to ruin your saw in case it does burn it up, because you have different frictions and stuff when you're dealing with wood versus say a metal, and it could burn the motor up on this probably a little bit easier. But I don't know enough about that to really speak intelligently. But yeah, the next video I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all my different DeWalt battery tools that I have and their uses, because that's the nice thing about having all the same of one thing these days is like DeWalt, you got so many different tools that you can use, hand tools. So there you have it. The winner of the weekly knife giveaway is Spice 195, my first female subscriber, I believe. I might have one or two others, but none of them participate or have tried to enter one of the giveaways. Spice did. Spice 195. She's spicy. I gotta guarantee you that. If you got a handle like that, you're spicy. And she just won Kobe Momentum. I keep wanting to call it Kobe. The Kobe Momentum. Awesome.